Hello, I'm probably riding my bike. An exciting ride ahead today. I'm joining the second Seoul Critical Mass, or the second of this edition anyway, and my first Critical Mass. I'm excited to see what it's all about. But first, I've got to stop off for some noodles. Bakayunmen. I came here in a previous video, and probably the best Japanese noodles I've had in Korea. Tsukumen, the dipping noodles, large size, and of course a clean bowl club. I have a feeling that I'll be coming here quite often. Now to head for a coffee before the critical mass.
We're on the roads enough.
Riding and talking about different bike parts.
Full clampers, flat mount.
I think mine are post mount.
Yeah, yours are face mount.
Yeah.
Yeah, flat mount's quite a lot small back. They're super comfortable. The stem length is perfect for these. They're designed by one of the mechanics from the main Blue Lug shop.
Exciting stuff if you're into talking about different types of disc brakes and handlebars. Probably insanely boring for most. A quick jaunt along the Han River bike path over to Gongdok, where our critical mass is going to start. And a coffee first at one of my favourites over at Puda Cafe near Daeheung Station. One of my favourite things about this cafe is how friendly the staff are. Not every nice coffee shop with good coffee has the friendliest baristas, but this place does. And a good flat white and cookies. Puda Cafe is next to a very lovely park that used to be an old train line, which they converted into like a walking park across the city. When they first built it, they had a bike lane, which I thought was incredible to have in Seoul. But since then, they've removed it. All the more reason for us to be joining our critical mass. It's a shame to have this amazing infrastructure and bike lane created, only to be removed. And then your only alternative is to be riding on the main roads with the cars.
What do you think of the WTV Rangers 2.8 on these?
And here we are, the meeting point for the second critical mass in Seoul
안녕하세요.
of this iteration. I think there used to be some a while ago. They stopped for quite a while and now starting again, which is great. They're going to meet every third Saturday of the month. So I hope to see lots of you who are watching. And it was incredibly cool to see some subscribers on this ride today. When we arrived, there was about 10 people, and I thought, oh, that's a pretty good turnout. And in the end, there was about 40 of us, I think. A range of lots of cool different bikes.
Yeah.
And Yeji's lovely standard, which she converted from a drop bar to more upright flat bar build. A lovely fun bike, which she seemed very happy with since switching to these upright bars. Too many bikes to check, but this was probably one of my favourites of the day. This Ebisu Randonneur,
So have you been
clean
to
and classic.
It's like super like 80s, 90s.
Yeah.
Critical Mass is organised by Uiho and some other lovely people. It's really cool that they're putting the effort and time into creating this. I hope it builds momentum and continues to grow. For a January winter's day, I think the turnout's amazing today. And I think when the weather gets warmer, we'll have even more people. I've never joined a critical mass before, so I didn't really know what to expect. I was kind of imagining to be a little stressful and kind of a battle with cars. But actually, it was incredibly safe. We took the whole lane. There's plenty of space for the cars to get around us. And there was only a couple of taxi drivers who got angry in this Porsche. I've actually never felt so safe riding on the roads with the cars as I did this day. It was quite empowering to take the whole lane and be able to just have a nice conversation with people whilst riding on the main roads of Seoul. I loved seeing people of all different ages and genders joining us on the ride, with all sorts of bikes as well, from cargo bikes, fancy steel bikes, mini velos, folding bikes, and the Seoul bike, Danengi, even a tall bike, and a BMX. Hopefully there's even more different bikes next time. Not everyone needs to be obsessed with bikes like me. You just need to want to be able to ride your bike safely in the city, just to get around. Critical Mass is basically celebrating or advocating cycling culture, raising awareness for cycle safety, promoting sustainable transportation. Basically showcasing it as a viable mode of transport and enjoyable too. Seoul has a growing number of cyclists, especially for leisure and sports rides. But a lot of the time cycling is just seen as that, something to do for sport, rather than a viable way to get around. I think part of that is because the Seoul streets can feel quite unsafe for cyclists, thanks to their car-centric infrastructure. So events like this push for better cycling conditions, including protected bike lanes and cycle-friendly policies. Seoul has Korea has amazing cycle infrastructure. Along the rivers, like the Han River, there's amazing bike paths for uninterrupted rides for kilometers and miles. Every tributary has their own bike lane as well. You can even cycle all the way to Busan on the south coast. So it's doing a lot better than a lot of other cities. But I still think it has a way to go. Not everyone lives near the Han River, so doesn't have so much access to it. And some people want to get around the city without having to drive a car or take the bus. A more healthy, sustainable way, like riding a bike. Within the city, there's either painted bike lanes, and I don't think paint is really infrastructure. It doesn't protect you from cars, or you're expected to share the pavement with pedestrians. Within the city there are some segregated bike lanes, but a lot of them are quite poorly designed. I think designed more to get the bikes away from the cars so the cars can freely flow, rather than making it safer for bikes. So I think a way to make Seoul better for cycling and its cycling infrastructure better would be some uninterrupted citywide bike lanes. They need to be connected and uninterrupted, like a network like the cars have. At least having some uninterrupted bike lanes to connect to the Han River. And some other cities I've been to, like Copenhagen, even Paris and London, have some kind of traffic signal integration. So cycle-specific traffic signals and some priority at intersections would reduce the risk of accidents and crossings. I think a lot of drivers would be dead against this kind of infrastructure. But if you look at this video, you can see there's about 6 lanes for cars. They have so much space already. I think if you create a little bit more space for bikes, more people will use them. I think if bike infrastructure isn't safe enough for kids to ride on it, it's not good enough. I'm not saying ban cars completely. There's a time and a place, and certain people need to use them. I'm just saying give a bit more space to others. More space for public transport, and more space for sustainable travel, like riding bikes. I loved the atmosphere today. Everyone was so friendly and open and warm, and they all seemed so happy to be riding bikes together in this safe environment. It was about a 2-hour ride of riding slow. There's no worry about keeping pace and catching up with each other. It's all about riding slowly together. Creating this cycle infrastructure for everyday people and everyday riding needs quite bold leadership. A good example is Paris. I've been to Paris quite a few times, and then the last few times I've been amazed with how it's transformed into a cycling city. I think overall it's a positive change, but it could impact some people negatively if they're not willing to change. Like some business owners or people travelling into the city from the suburbs. But I think the pros outweigh the cons. It makes people healthier, makes the air cleaner. I think it would just make the cities a nicer place to live. I'm sure there's an abundance of videos that explain it better than me. I'm just rambling from the top of my head.
But it's good.
But it makes complete sense in my head anyway. I'm incredibly excited for next month's critical mass ride and the coming months ahead. Please do come, even if you're just visiting Seoul. You can hire a tanningi and come and join us. Another well done to the organisers for organising a perfect event. Hope you enjoyed this video. Like and subscribe if you want to see more. See you later.